Hey guys, today we're going to talk about developing your very own brand. Why is it important to brand ourselves? And most important, why should we build your own personal brand? When stepping into the barber and beauty industry, you automatically think, I want to be my own boss. But have you ever thought everything that comes with being in charge of your own personal brand? Being your own boss can give you the illusion of freedom, but the reality is very much different. You must be disciplined in multiple areas of your life, including finance, time management, bookkeeping, and holding yourself accountable. Lacking discipline in any one of these areas can affect you, your business, and especially those around you. What makes you valuable? What makes you stand out from the rest? What services do you offer that no one else can? What makes you different? How do you even know what you are worth? And most importantly, how do you know that your customer base is going to be receptive and accepting of your brand? Dave Diggs Barber said that people will pay for your services if you offer it and present it right. Let's think about that one for a second. The question you need to answer is, how do we create a powerful brand identity? And doing this doesn't happen overnight. You can't just pick a few colors and slap together a logo. It takes much more strategy than that. It's going to require deep thinking. You need a team with strong communication and design skills, and also an intimate understanding of who you are as a brand. Your brand identity is going to be the expression of their brand, including the trademark, the brand name, any type of communications, and your visual appearance. It's going to be the collective of how your brand looks, feels, and it speaks to people. Sometimes it may even include how it sounds, or how it tastes, feels, or even smells. You engage all the senses. You've successfully identified your brand. You will be able to communicate with the world and differentiate yourself from your competition and create an experience that encourages people to engage with you. If you learn to properly brand yourself and market your brand to establish a network, you will have a solid and successful future. So being your own boss is going to entail that you create your brand, communicate it in a way that will grow a collective of individuals that is going to support you and serve your community. This lesson, we will review branding, marketing, and management. So what does branding entail? How do we successfully market that brand? And how do we monitor and manage our business? The important thing to remember about branding is that it is a process. And it's going to begin by creating a name and an image through advertising campaigns with a consistent theme and promise to your customer. Notice the word consistent. You want to be recognizable so that your brand can be identified. So why should we build that brand now? Your brand is your promise to your customer, and it tells them exactly what they can expect and what differentiates you from their competitors. And it's basically derived from who you are and who you want to be and how you want people to perceive you. Only you can determine how you want your life to unfold. You can't control every aspect of your life, but you can create a long-term vision and develop steps to achieve that vision. When creating your brand, it's important that you set your values. Define the things that are most important to you. Your ambition, community quality service. Find what you're passionate about and find what makes you happy. Then take those and prioritize them. But make sure that when you're prioritizing these values, you want to find happiness within your professional life. Then identify where you want to be, both professional and personal. And identify your passion. So now that you understand who you are and who you need to identify as and where you want to be, you create an ideal career goal and break that down into small objectives. For example, if you wanted to open up a barbershop, that's a goal. So how do we break down that goal into smaller objectives so that we can do the little things to add up to that big goal? What licenses are needed? What are the state regulations? Maybe we need to get our finances in order. What does a business loan look like? All of these questions arrive from your end goal, and writing them down will help you prioritize and accomplish these goals a little bit at a time. Once you've identified that passion, then it's time to build those assets. And this is where your brand name will come into play, creating your logo, establishing a website, etc. In order for us to develop the brand, we have to know the message behind it. What is our purpose? And this is where your mission statement is going to come into play. Your mission statement is a formal summary of the aims and values of your company, organization, or individual. It has to communicate clearly what you intend to do. It's an expression made of the desires and the intent of your brand. Make sure that it is a clear, concise declaration of your business strategy, and it provides you with the framework and purpose of your business. For example, my mission statement would be to develop a network of leaders that will enhance the barber and beauty industry through creative innovation. I may develop these leaders through seminars, motivational speeches, mentorships, and workshops. Developing your mission statement, make sure that it answers these 4 essential questions. What do you do? How do you do it? And whom you do it for? And most importantly, what value you are bringing to the community. You've created your mission statement, the next step would be to create a logo. This is your visual representation of everything your company stands for. Remember that this will be the first impression of your business, and it's what's going to build loyalty between your business and your clients. The logo will establish your brand identity, and it is what will make your brand recognizable. It also should provide a professional look. A logo can take the form of almost anything. It can be literal to symbolic, from word driven to image driven. They're all a combination of typography, images, and each type of logo gives your brand a different look and feel. And since your logo is the first thing your audience will see, you'll want to get it right. So there are 5 types of logo, and each logo has its specific advantages and disadvantages. The first type is a wordmark logo. So these are great for short and unique names, and they are uniquely stylized text logo that spells out the brand name in a characterized way. Look at the Kellogg's logo, Coca-Cola logo, and the Disney logo. Each have their own characteristics, which makes them recognizable. Next type of logo is a letter mark, and these work great as a visual shortcut. They uniquely design one or more letters that act as a mnemonic for a company name. So think of the McDonald's logo. It's one letter that stands for McDonald's. Letter marks also work great for long or multi-words name. For instance, the OXO logo, which is an ambigram that renders the three letters OXO the same regardless of their orientation, either horizontal or vertically. The third type of logo is an emblem. So here, the company name is connected in a pictorial element. Emblems look good as an embroidered patch, and they symbolize equality, reliability, and longevity. Take a look at the Adidas logo. The three stripes of the trifold emblem symbolizes the company's focus on variety. The fourth type of logos are illustrative logos. They can literally picture the company name, and it has been simplified and stylized to convey what the business does graphically. So look at the Apple logo. The Apple logo represents this well. The bite of the first apple represents the fall of man. It symbolizes knowledge because Adam and Eve had their first taste of the apple tree, which gave them their knowledge. And the Apple computer's logo symbolizes knowledge. So this is a symbol that is the oldest and most potent in Western mythology. The fifth type of logo is the abstract graphic logo. So this is a symbol that conveys a big idea, and it often embodies strategic ambiguity. In other words, there's more than one interpretation for the logo. This is great for companies with numerous unrelated divisions, and you can attribute the meaning to cultivate the emotion around the brand without relying on cultural simplifications of a specific image. Take a look at the Nike image. So this logo is derived from a goddess wing, a swoosh, which symbolizes the sound of speed, movement, power, and motivation. Pretty cool, huh? So before you decide on pursuing a particular type of logo design, check the pros and cons of each and decide which one is best for you. Now we have the basics. We have our vision, our values, and our goals in mind. We have our business name, and we've symbolized it with a logo. Now it's time to create a formal statement of your business goal, the reason they are attainable, and the plans you are making to achieve them. This is what we know as a business plan. So a business plan doesn't need to be complicated. It could start out only being a few pages of clear language that expresses the following things: what your product is, what it does, and why. It should also tell your strategy for bringing that product to the market, and you must give details about your revenue model. Also include your goals, milestones, and the methods you will use to know if they failed. So your business plan can be used for fundraising, to achieve business loans, to apply for grants, and even start up a company. Now you'll want to protect your rights to your intellectual property. This is what we know as a trademark. So you can register a symbol, word, or words that are established by use to represent a company or a product. You can trademark things like your business name, product name, a specific symbol or design, a sound, or a product package. It will give you the exclusive right to use this information. You will also want to protect your right to reproduce, perform, distribute, or display your work or to create other work based on it. So this is what we know as copyright. It protects an original work of authorship. Some examples could be written material, photographs, drawings, and music. Then any inventions that you create will also need to be protected. So this is what you know as creating a patent. This gives you the right to sell your invention for a limited time, and it excludes others from selling, making, or using your invention. Once you've created your brand identity with your name, mission statement, your logo, and going through the rights to protect your property, you will also need to protect your personal assets. Limited liability company is a business structure that will shield your personal assets from any business liabilities. So it keeps the owners from personally being liable for the company's debts or liabilities. So how does an LLC protect you? Well, an LLC is a separate and distinct legal entity. An LLC can get a tax ID number to open a bank account and do all business under its own name. Members must have limited liability, meaning they are not personally liable for the debts and liabilities of the LLC. LLCs have rapidly become one of the most popular business structures for new and small businesses, mainly because they are considered to be simpler and more flexible than a corporation. When you form an LLC, your business becomes its own legal entity with separate debts and legal matter. However, LLCs are still tied to your personal taxes. Forming an LLC is going to offer personal liability protection in case of a lawsuit. In the event your LLC is sued, your personal assets like your home, vehicle, bank accounts are all protected. Before filing for your LLC certificate, you'll want to make sure that the name you choose is unique and distinguishable when comparing it to existing businesses registered by the state. There are going to be 3 different ways to search an LLC name in Texas. Next, you'll want to appoint a registered agent. So in Texas, a registered agent is a person or a company who's going to agree to receive notices, legal mail, and court documents in the event your LLC is sued or is involved in a court date. Next, you'll want to file for the LLC, which you can do so by mail or online. Then it'll draw up a LLC operating agreement, which is a written contract among all the LLC members, and it's going to spell out who owns the LLC and how much of the LLC they own. It'll also outline things like how the LLC is managed, how the profits are split, and how taxes are paid, and more. Next, you will need to obtain a employer identification number or a federal tax ID number. Think of this as your business social security number. It's going to help identify your LLC to the IRS for tax and filing purposes. You can also use the EIN number to open up a bank account, register for taxes, and process employee payroll if applicable. In the state of Texas, all LLCs, regardless of revenue or business activity, they must file a Texas franchise tax report and a public information report every year. Unlike most states where an LLC annual report is filed with the Secretary of State, the Texas LLC annual report is filed with the Texas Comptroller's Office. The franchise tax is a privilege tax for doing business in Texas, and part of this privilege includes liability protections provided by state law. So just keep in mind that when you open your LLC, you'll have to file these reports every single year. Next, you want to look into any sales tax permit or local licenses in your area. Depending where your Texas LLC is located and the industry it is in, you may need a local business license or permit to legally operate. Next, you'll want to make sure that you are paying your taxes. LLCs in Texas are responsible for filing franchise tax reports and collecting sales tax, as mentioned previously. And it may be a good idea to ask an accountant if your Texas LLC is responsible for any local taxes. Next, you'll want to open a business checking account. It's best practice to have a business checking account for your Texas LLC in order to maintain your personal liability protection. Be careful if you're using your personal bank account for your LLC. This is what is known as commonly of assets. And this can lead to personal liability issues if you end up in court. Having a separate business bank account for your LLC also makes record keeping easier for accounting and tax purposes. And finally, create your own business phone number. So instead of giving out your cell phone number, it might be a good idea to get a separate business phone number for your LLC. We recommend getting a phone number. All businesses must pay taxes on their income. That is, the business must pay tax on the profit of the company, which is the income of the business less deductible expenses. So now we're going to go over how to file these taxes as an independent contractor versus an employer. Independent contractor, you are in control of your work environment, products, and services. It means you create your own work schedule, you take care of your own overhead, and you are free to seek out business opportunities as you see fit. You can exchange services for your own income, you monitor your profit loss margin, you advertise independently, and you are also responsible for your own insurance. You must have liability and malpractice insurance and health insurance. It's important to understand that as an independent contractor or a booth renter, you should have a written contract between the landlord or the owner of the shop and the booth renter being yourself. You may also sell products at your own booth as an independent contractor. Independent contractors are responsible for paying their own federal, state, and local taxes, and they must obtain a tax identification number used to create that identity and regulate the business. As an independent contractor, you should have a basic contract which should include the following information: the lease rate or the rate of your booth rental, how long or length of the contract, any language regarding the cancellation of the contract, and what you are entitled to in exchange for your rental chair. Some amenities you can expect to receive in this type of arrangement and should therefore be a part of the contract should include the use of a station, the use of electricity, water, and a credit card machine, the use of the shampoo area, towels, or any barber equipment. As a booth renter, you will also include the obligations of the barbershop owner, such as paying the shop taxes, protecting the shop from property damage, and indemnifying the shop from loss resulting from your actions or omissions that harm a third party. Some supporting documentations you will need when filing your tax responsibilities is your SS-8 determination of worker status. So this is going to identify whether or not you're an independent contractor or an employee. You must pay self-employment tax and income tax. You will use a 1099 miscellaneous form. include payments you've made toward your rent. You will also file a Schedule C form or a 1040 to report your profit loss. A 4070A, which is a report on cash and non-cash tips. And business income must be deposited in a business account separate from your personal account. And finally, the Form 4822, which is your personal living expenses. Some supporting documentation to support your taxes would include your appointment book, schedules, any cash receipts, credit card receipts, your account statements, tip diaries, payrolls, deposit slips, invoices, petty cash slips, service slips, leasing agreements, contracts, paid bills, and any type of canceled checks. Documents are going to support your wages, expenses, and your assets. So your wages is going to be any income earned or your gross receipts. Purchases are going to be items you buy, resell to customers, and it helps you determine the value of your inventory. Your expenses is the cost that you will incur other than purchases to carry on your business. And then your assets is property, such as any equipment and furniture that you own in your business. You must keep record to determine annual depreciation and the gain and loss when you sell these assets. So the record should show when and how you acquired your asset, the purchase price, cost of improvements, any deductions taken for depreciation and casualty losses, how you use the asset, when and how you disposed of the asset, and then the selling price expenses of the sale. So moral of the story here is do not throw away anything. You want to keep it all. Okay, so file it away. All these documentations is going to help you when you're ready to prepare your taxes. If you plan on having employees in your business, keep in mind that as an employer, you control what will be done and how it's done. You will be responsible for withholding income tax, paying Social Security and Medicare tax, and pay unemployment tax on wages paid to an employee. You will provide training and regulate performance, provide a regular wage amount, and salaries and wages is going to be based on either productivity, commission, salary, or both. Expenses are reimbursed to the employee, and they can also receive benefits such as insurance, pension, or paid leave. Employees are also responsible to report their cash tips to the owner. As an employer, you will either be a shop owner or a landlord. This is dependent on the type of workers you're going to have in your business. So as a shop owner, you will control both the method and the result of services the shop offers and give the workers a controlled environment. You are also responsible for advertising and you must provide business cards. As a landlord, you're providing a booth space available for rent or lease. You may provide products to sell for a commission-based pay and serve a 1099 form. You may also provide a reception and cleaning service for a fee. And if the worker helps build the reputation of the shop, the landlord has the right to control certain aspects of their work, but they cannot enforce meetings. Another important aspect about establishing your business is thinking ahead. We want to plan for our retirement. So you may want to look into an IRA or an individual retirement account, which will allow for retirement savings to grow without being taxed. And you can contribute $5,000 per year. A traditional IRA is tax deductible, and a Roth IRA, you don't need no upfront tax deduction to start. Now it's time to communicate your brand effectively. So, we're going into the marketing strategy. This is a long term, forward looking approach with the fundamental goal of achieving sustainable competitive advantage. Nowadays, your phone is your microphone. You have every opportunity to market yourself and communicate with your audience at the tip of your fingers. In 2020, the number of smartphone users in the world is 3.5 billion, which translate to 45.04% of the world's population owning a smartphone. Think about the huge advantage that you have in reaching out to an audience this massive. Before we start marketing our brand, we have to prepare. We need to build our assets. In terms of personal branding, your assets are going to be anything of value. There are things that you own that will communicate your brand to your target audience. Your online assets are things like your own website, your blog, social media accounts, your YouTube channel. And your offline assets could be things like your business cards, flyers, coupons, certificates, licenses, your personal look, any type of print work. So build a collection of assets that will help you build your overall network. It's basically anything that will help you communicate your brand to the right audience. Once you've built your assets, it's essential to create a formula for how your business is going to compete. What are the goals and what policies will need to be put in place to carry out these goals? This is where your marketing plan comes into play. So it requires strategic planning and seeks to address the following questions. Where are we now? What business should we be in? How should we get there? And how do we know when we got there? So, knowing where you are now is going to identify what the situation is currently. And as answering the question, where should we be, that is more towards your vision and your mission. Understanding how to get there plays into part your strategies, your planning, your goals, your objectives. Then you'll need to be able to know what do you do when you finally get there. Once you have your vision, it's time to determine who your target audience is. Most professionals are selling something to someone. If you're looking for a job, you're selling yourself to a potential employer. If you want to start your own business, you're selling yourself to potential clients. So your target audience is going to be a particular group in which a marketing campaign is going to be aimed at. One of the biggest mistakes that we make as personal branders is trying to appeal to everyone. You have to aim in order to hit the goal that you're wanting to achieve. So think of a dartboard. If you let go of your darts without aiming them, you probably won't get it very far. But if you aim, you'll hit the board. And if your aim is very good, you'll hit a bullseye, and that's even better. The trick to identify with your target audience is to empathize with them. Know what their problem. Know how they feel about it and provide a solution. The importance here is to build a community of people that's going to support your brand and in turn help your business grow. best ways to market and communicate your brand is on social media. And social media marketing is the process of gaining traffic or attention through social media. So, what you'll want to do is create social media marketing goals that solve your biggest challenges. This involves publishing great content on your social media profiles, listening and engaging your followers, analyzing your results, and running social media advertisements. This will help you build your brand, increase sales, and even drive website traffic. You will need to research your social media audience and establish your most important metrics. Research your competitors as well. Look at their landscape, their layout. How often do they post? What's their engagement looks like? And use that to build your content and compete. Engage with your audience as well. Respond. Like their comments. Engage with your audience. And you also want to track and monitor your productivity to measure your level of success. Great marketing tools you can use are Canva, which allows you to create flyers. They're blank templates and you can customize them how you see fit. Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, PixArt, Ripple, Viva Video, iMovie, your iPhone, and your MacBook. These are all great tools to help you put together some great advertising and marketing material. Networking is a necessity. Your network is going to be your net worth. There's a ton of research that shows that professional networks lead to more job and business opportunities. A broader and deeper knowledge, improved capacity to innovate, faster advancement within your career, and greater success and status and authority. Building and nurturing professional relationships also helps improve the quality of work and increases your job satisfaction. Networking involves developing and maintaining connections. It's all about building and developing those relationships with individuals in which you can mutually benefit from. And this will provide you with a support system of individuals who can provide meaningful assistance in relation to your career and industry exploration. Seek out mentors. These are going to be people that can provide guidance and friendship for your life. They might have experience in the exact life path you want to pursue, but that quality is not a requirement. Often the best mentors are simply good listeners, educators, and friends. Mentors are great assets for professionals looking to build their personal brand, and you can learn how they became successful or how they view the world and use those strategies to build your own success. And keep in mind that this is going to be a continuous, ongoing process. When building these relationships, it's important to constantly check in with one another, share those stories, and communicate. Your website is going to be the representation of your brand. All your marketing strategies would be to drive traffic here. It's going to deliver specific information in an organized and user-friendly manner. And the success is based on the number of visitors. Make sure that it is well designed and it is constantly managed. Having a website will attract new customers to your business and also make you money. Add instant credibility to your business by simply having a website. Great resources to create the website is Wix. You can use WordPress and even register your domain name on GoDaddy.com. To manage your business is a continuous, crucial process. Once you've established what you want, your personal brand to be and you're working to grow it, you'll need to monitor the growth and the perception. It includes all aspects of overseeing and supervising business operations. This is going to require planning, organizing, and communicating activities to accomplish your goals, scheduling, budgeting, bookkeeping, and continuous education. Take a second and start brainstorming on your barbershop. Think about how it would look like. What would it be called? What type of services would you offer and what prices would they be? How many chairs would you like in there? Is there a break room? Is there a dispense area? Write down your ideas and just let those creative juices flow. Let's draw out your business model. Create a business model of your barbershop. Include the name of your business and draw the layout of your shop. Include the number of chairs, one sink, bathroom, exit, entrance, break room, closet, etc. Also provide your services and your price list. Draw your picture and upload to the drive.